In the summer of 2011, SELB was developing this new Leadership Fellows program, and a couple of us just randomly signed up for this workshop with Dr. Melissa Peet from the University of Michigan. And in that session, we quickly realized that the things that she was developing for her students, called generative knowledge interviewing and the integrative e-portfolio process, was going to work perfect for what we were trying to do. So all this research has been telling us that in order to be successful in today's workplace, students or candidates need to be able to apply something that they learned in one area and use it in all these other diverse, unexpected environments. So in other words, people have to be flexible learners. They have to be able to apply skills across all these different areas. They tell us, these employers tell us that knowledge and skills are wonderful. They want their candidates to have the information, to be able to do these things, but it's the soft skills that are really important. So communication, leadership, being able to coordinate a team, and problem solving, these things that are really hard to learn from a textbook are the things that they're really looking for in their candidates. So not only do students need to be able to do these things, they also need to be able to articulate how and explain how they do it. So the generative knowledge interviewing process helps students to identify, demonstrate, and articulate the knowledge they gained within and across different contexts. Students gain consciousness of themselves and of others, and are able to better identify their gaps and their strengths. And at the end of the process, they also have this really wonderful professional digital identity.
Here's the basic process. First, during our time in Leadership Fellows, we participate in generative knowledge interviewing, which will be explained more fully later in this video. One of the outcomes of generative knowledge interviewing is a list of your strengths and capacities. We hope that you'll use these to complete reflections both during our class time and on your own. These will be used to create e-portfolio pages online that demonstrate your knowledge, understanding, and capacities in the topics covered within Leadership Fellows. The e-portfolio is a living document. We hope that you will revise and improve it as we go through the year and other ideas and concepts come up. We've mentioned generative knowledge a couple of times now. It would probably be good to define what we mean. Every day as a student, you're gaining new skills and information from your classes, from your leadership experiences, and just from interactions with all the people you meet. In fact, sometimes as a student, it feels like there's a million individual facts buzzing around in your head. By finals, you might feel that your head will just overflow. Knowledge can be defined as facts, information, and skills that a person acquires through experience and education, all of these things buzzing around in your head. But is more than just a list of pieces of information. Generative knowledge is the connections you make between these individual pieces of information. It is the ability to draw connections and learn from them to solve other problems and to see situations in a new light. When you can put information or facts that you learned in class, together with an understanding of the values you learned from your family or culture, together with the skills you learned from your experiences as a student leader, and articulate and use that in another totally different situation, that's generative knowledge. Being able to do this is a skill of its own, one that gives your mind and abilities a boost, because whatever you're doing, you can learn something that helps you in other areas of your life. The process of telling stories is an important tool to tap into tacit knowledge. We gain an understanding of ourselves and others by finding patterns between experiences. Because what is life if not a series of stories? Furthermore, we found that generative knowledge interviewing helps students build capacities that can help them in a number of ways. This ability to tell a story also helps to articulate to others your passions and values. This is the stuff that graduate school applications are made out of. No letter of intent is complete without an example of why you want to study in that field and how it's connected to your values, beliefs, and personality. They are looking for a student who is genuine and articulate and can quickly let them know why they're the best candidate. To get there, students need to have done some soul searching and to explore those questions for themselves. The process of generative knowledge interviewing and e-portfolio reflections helps you to do that. Students have come back after Leadership Fellows to let us know that practicing how to tell a story to give an example of a time when has helped them to ace their job interviews. Employers are again looking for these soft skills. They want to know that you can work well with others, think on your feet, etc. You can tell them, I'm a great problem solver, but so will everyone else. The key is to tell them a quick story that exemplifies a time when you were a great problem solver. First, you'll be asked to quickly write down 2 stories. These should be stories about a time in your life in which you had some type of strong feeling, such as frustration, stress, excitement, or in which you learned something new about yourself. They should be stories that are not so personal that you feel uncomfortable sharing them with other students. You'll be asked to tell these stories from first person. For example, I organized a large event, and with a beginning and an end, perhaps talking about a specific event planning meeting and not the entire year leading up to it. Students will be in groups of 3. They will take turns in 3 different roles: the storyteller, the interviewer, and the note taker. First, the storyteller tells their 2 stories in detail. Second, the interviewer asks the storyteller to fill in missing details, explain anything that was confusing in either of the stories, or to expand upon key words. Then the note taker shares patterns they heard between the 2 stories, as well as any evocative language or imagery they heard. Finally, the interviewer and note taker reflect back to the storyteller the patterns they heard of strengths, capacities, and skills they picked up on in the stories. This process should take about 15 to 20 minutes. Then the group will switch roles and repeat until everyone has had a chance at each role.